Welcome to the Main Basketball Rankings podcast. I'm your host, basketball data nerd, Lucas McNelly. Well, we had something different in mind for the intro of this, but then the news did the news. And we're going to talk about the NBA for just a minute. If you haven't seen Pablo Torre of Pablo Torre Finds Out, which is one of the best names you could possibly have for a podcast about investigative journalism, has the story, and you should really go listen to his podcast if you haven't already, that the Clippers allegedly were using a shady sort of no-show job to funnel Kawhi Leonard $28 million in circumventing the salary cap. And now a lot of people have made the very good joke that they thought basketball was Kawhi Leonard's no-show job, but in fact it appears he was being paid a lot of money to endorse this product that he wasn't endorsing and didn't have to endorse and didn't have to do a single thing if he didn't feel like it, which being Kawhi Leonard, he did not. And so this isn't really an NBA podcast, and so that's not really why I'm talking about this. It's more because if you listen to 10 minutes of the show, and it's a fascinating show, and Pablo Torre's really been on a heater on this show and digging stuff up and sort of wrecking the NFL Players Association's leadership, who was doing some shady things. And it seems like he's just wrecked Steve Ballmer's shady things that he was allegedly doing. You can tell really quickly that this isn't a thing where Pablo Torre heard a thing from a guy and then put it on Instagram for the clicks and then, oh, well, we'll see what happens. This is a heavily researched thing. It appears that he spent months researching this, meticulously verifying things and really digging into it. And I think it just goes to show that in the world being what it is, it's very important to remember the value of independent journalism and to remember the value of people really digging in and doing the work to do the job correctly. And I'm not really a journalist, but I've done some journalism, and I can tell you that it's very hard and it takes a lot of work, and it's not something that you just sort of half-ass slapdash it on and go about your day and hope the clicks roll in. But it's also very important because there's no way something like this gets uncovered if it is in fact true without someone like that or people like that really doing the work. And so I just want to say that for our purposes, local journalism is essential, and local journalism in the state of Maine is struggling, with the Maine Trust for Local News having their struggles, and the newspaper industry in general, and the media industry in general. So anytime we've got this sort of like real journalism happening, that's awesome, and we should encourage it and we should promote it as much as we can. Which is to say that what's also very annoying about this is that how so many outlets, and Noah Dazel, who covers the Celtics, pointed this out, is that so many people were just sort of burying the part where someone did a journalism to figure this out. And like there's one outlet that had their headline was, Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, no-show job, blah, 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 according to accusations by former staffers, or something like that, and just completely burying the fact that an actual journalist did the hard work to get this information, because the staffers did not come to this guy and say, hey, we have a story for you. He found them and he came to them and he got them to go on record. And I think my favorite part of the whole episode is that they could only get this guy on the record if they used the voice modulation thing that they do on the news, where they black the guy's face out and there he has the weird voice that I sound strange now. And they were just, I thought it was great. They were so excited that they got to actually use that in a real thing, because it's just such a trope of movies or TV shows, like cop shows or whatever. But I thought that was just hilarious that they were just the most excited to be able to use that. But he had to he tracked these people down and he found them and he talked to them, and it sounds like it took a lot of convincing to get them to go on the record. And this whole thing doesn't work if he doesn't get these people on the inside to go on the record. So to whitewash and ignore his contribution in order to promote your own clicks and your own media outlet is just kind of gross, and I hate it. And it's just a thing to remember that we really need independent journalism now more than ever, and we need to promote it, and we need to not pretend that we came up with it when in fact we are just taking someone else's work and taking credit for it. So, end rant. Today also, if you're listening to this I'm pretty sure this is going to come out on Thursday. I'm recording this Wednesday night. Today is the first day of fall sports. Football is starting a little early because of the ref shortage that is ongoing. Varsity Maine has, and I forgot who wrote it now. I want to say it was Travis Lazarick, whose name I never pronounced correctly. I think he wrote the article about how they need to start adding some Thursday games because there's just not enough refs and because there's a ref shortage. So if you think you would enjoy being a ref, go be a ref, take the courses. It's not as terrible as it looks. I stand next to them at football games, and they seem to be enjoying themselves for the most part and cracking jokes and often asking me for scores from other games. So, it's a fun little part of the community. And I think, if you got into reffing, you'd really enjoy it. So, do that. Other than that, today's a soccer episode. Darren Allen from Spruce Mountain is here. We talked about him building a youth program completely from scratch at Mount Abram, winning the National Small Public High School Coach of the Year Award, which is a very prestigious award, and a bunch of other stuff. So I believe you will enjoy that. And then if you haven't already, there's the subscription at the website, mainbasketballrankings.com. There's the newsletter, which is going to go 2, maybe 3 times a week. So sign up for that. Sign up for the heel points, which right now I can promise you are a lot better than the heel points on the MPA's website, which is still a mess. $6 a month, totally worth it, and allows me to do more stuff like this. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, subscribe to the podcast where you subscribe to podcasts. So now, without further delay, let's go to my conversation with Darren Allen. My guest today is the head soccer coach of Spruce Mountain and the 2023 National Soccer Coach of the Year, Darren Allen. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Lucas.
We've been trying to do this for a while. You're the very first soccer coach to be on the podcast, and I'm going to be very careful not to use my hands because I know you guys hate that. But
no, I don't mind hands. I use my hands all the time.
All right, great. Because I know soccer guys sometimes are like, "Oh, you touch the ball with your hands; it's a whole thing." No, I don't know.
I got chastised by some of our fans last night. Had a scrimmage, and they said they could see me from the sidelines, and I was really animated with my hands during the halftime speech. It was a little Bobby Knight type of speech at halftime, and of course, none of the kids know who Bobby Knight is.
No, of course not.
I'm dating myself.
Did you throw a chair at anybody?
I did not. No.
Well, you probably don't have a chair.
I have a bucket that I sit on, like a baseball bucket.
There you go. You could throw a bucket. Sure, that would work.
Yes.
I've seen coaches have the clipboard, and they have like a cheap backup one that they'll break at halftime.
No, I don't have a clipboard.
Just for the effect, just like, okay. All right. So the first question is, you played at Mount Abram and then at the UMaine Presque Isle. And so the question to you is, how would Coach Allen game plan against young standout Darren Allen?
Get under his skin. Yeah. Get under his skin.
Yeah.
Used to be a little bit of a hothead. Yeah. But
I think we all used to be a little bit of a hothead.
As we age, we become more calm.
So that would be the trick. Get under your skin and maybe hope you get a red card or something.
Yeah, I did get potatoes thrown at me at several games at UMaine Presque Isle when we went visiting, especially at Thomas College. Yeah,
they're throwing potatoes.
Yeah, because it's the county. They were throwing potatoes at us.
Okay. So I read a thing, a Mike Mandel article about your Western Maine Conference showcase thing in the summer, and you had to buy extra potatoes. What was that? I read it very quickly, and I was like, "Why are we talking about potatoes?"
I'm not sure what that's about.
Okay.
I didn't see that article by Mike Mandel.
You- Okay, it was a couple years ago, and I was trying, doing a little bit of research, and then he's talking about how you're like, I got 600 pounds of potatoes, and now I gotta go get more potatoes, and we got
Oh,
too
I
many
know what he's
teams or something.
the Western. Yeah. So my wife and I used to run the Western Mountain 7v7. That's what he's talking about. All the
Okay,
potatoes. Yeah, I had to go out and buy more potatoes because we ran out. Yeah, 600 pounds for the French
just
fry.
to just to feed, okay, to feed kids and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
That's I got it.
I was a
I'll go
little
back to my
confused.
healthy days. Yeah,
I
I
was
was
just, it's like, what are we talking about here? And I know Mandel wouldn't just throw in potatoes for no reason. He's not that sort of eccentric.
yeah, I got now I got it. Now I got it. Yeah,
Okay. All right. So you were the 2023 United Soccer Coaches Small Public School Coach of the Year. Is that that's right, right?
that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of small public schools in these United States. How
There is.
I'm not discounting the accomplishment at all or anything like that. I'm just wondering, how do you even get on the radar for that? Because how many
Oh, so
thousands of schools are there?
yeah, it's a huge process. So like you start out like you have to it's a sequence. So you have to see I'm using my hands because that's how I do things. So
Well,
it's a
a
sequence.
basketball guy will do it.
So it starts out with like your main United Soccer Coaches of Maine. They vote, and so you win the state, and then you go to the regional, which is basically New England. And if you win that, you're automatically qualify for the national. And I can't remember how many regions there are in the United States, but there's quite a few. So, I remember the story because I was sitting on my couch and and I was going to the conference that year was in Los Angeles. So I remember sitting on the couch and I'm like, oh yeah, I just bought my tickets like 2 days before, and I get this out of state phone number on my cell phone, and we're always like, oh, it's a robocall. If it's important,
Sure.
they'll leave a message, and it actually was the director of the that handed out the award to me at the banquet in Los Angeles, calling me to tell me that I had won, and I let him go to voicemail, and he left a message and said, "Hey, you want to call me back because we got something to talk about." And so I thought it was about my tickets to the banquet or something for
You
receiving
weren't
the
allowed in.
yeah. So I called him back and he told me I won. I'm like, wow, I should have answered my phone. So that's how I found out.
So it's a little bit like teacher of the year, how you're the teacher of the school nominates a teacher, and then it's like the whatever the district or
Right.
the
Yeah.
I can't think of names now, and then it's just sort of it's a winnowing process like that.
Yes. Yeah. You keep
Okay.
keep stepping up. You keep winning. Yeah.
Okay. So that was the year you guys won, I believe, the first state championship in Mount Abram history. You guys gave up 3 goals on the entire season, 15 shutouts, which is just an
Yes.
insane defense.
It was crazy. Yeah. That was a crazy season, yeah. Yeah. It's all true. Yes.
Was that one of those teams where you are thinking to yourself, like in the preseason, like this time of year, going, boy, this is a team, this is championship or bust, or did it progress as the season went along? Or are you one of those coaches who's always sort of sandbagging? I had Ryan Snell on last week, Madomic's coach, and he's like, "We're gonna go 0-8." I'm like, "I don't think you are, but okay."
I mean, I'm not that bad. I know we had the potential. We have gone to the regional final before that 2 years straight. So I knew we could possibly get there, but in soccer, anything can happen because it's one
Sure.
of those games where you can completely dominate and still lose 1-0.
Hmm.
So I'm cautiously optimistic that season. I knew we were good. I mean, we had some fantastic kids and players, but I really knew the night we went down to Greeley and beat Greeley on their home pitch and beat them 1-0. And I think that was their only home loss of the season. And really people started like looking at us. We're at that time, Mount Abram, well, still is a very small school.
Hmm.
in the Western Maine Mountains. Very rural, not a lot of community programs for the kids to play soccer. So that was something cool and stuff. So when we beat Greeley, I kind of knew that, yeah, this could happen, but we still had to. I think that was the second to last game this season. So I kind of really knew that we had a very good possibility to at least make it to the state game.
So you were there 17 years, and if there's not a lot of community soccer, how do you build a feeder program?
You're looking at the person, along with others,
Right.
that built the community program. Yeah. So
Okay.
my good friend Mark Keller and I started a rec soccer uh, program in 2008, I believe. We went to the national conference together. We rode down with his brother Michael Keller, who used to be the University of Southern Maine men's soccer coach. And on the way home, we talked about it because we drove to Baltimore. So we had a lot of time to talk,
It's a lot of time.
you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, in my minivan, the man van as we called it because it's no longer with us. And we talked about it on the way home. And so we started it. And we also ran an indoor program for kids grades 1 through 8 in the seasons between basketball and baseball.
So you're essentially you've got to recruit coaches to do this and like volunteers and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yeah. We used high school kids to do that mostly. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. And so then it's a long culmination in the state championship game. And then I think one thing that I remember from that game, even when it happened in 2023, is the photo that the Sun Journal used of you holding up the trophy, and like the amount of joy on your face is the sort of thing you only see from the players in that situation, because the coaches try to play it a little cooler. But I was just really struck by the amount of joy in that photo.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably the highlight of my coaching career so far. So far,
Yeah.
was that photo. Yeah.
Was it just sort of like a release of emotion of like all sort of
Oh
building up
yeah.
to that time?
Yeah. I think I said 17 years of work into that one moment.
Yeah. Okay. So then I want to pivot a little bit. Reading the stuff. So you left Mount Abram and you
Yes.
took a year off. And part of the reason was because of the stipend at Mount Abram, which was, I believe, the lowest in the conference. And I don't mean to like drag on Mount Abram, but I sort of want to highlight to people how low these stipends are across all the sports in the state,
Yes.
and I'm assuming in other states. So your stipend, if you don't mind me saying what it was, because it was in the article, was $3,300, $3,356, which for the amount of hours, I think people don't realize how little per hour that is when the parents are like standing on the sidelines, like running their mouths and complaining about the coach. And why isn't the coach doing this? And why isn't the coach doing that? And it's like the coach is making like $1.50 an hour here. So
Yes.
cut him some
Yeah.
slack.
Yeah. 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 A
Is
lot
that
of time, a lot of dedication went into that. Yeah.
is that a thing? Do parents, in your experience, do they realize like how this is essentially a volunteer job?
I think so. I think so. But I think it goes away when they have an issue, with
Right.
whatever the issue is. I think it goes away. It doesn't matter. You're still in a job of authority, so to speak, even though you know that's really crazy pay. But a lot of times you do it for the love, and I mean, coaches wouldn't do it. I mean,
Right.
wouldn't do it if they didn't love it, and yeah. So I don't think parents at that time when they're complaining like, nah, 150 an hour. He's still in a point of
Because
authority. And
they'll
he's
complain about the high school kid who's doing it absolutely for free.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Refereeing a rec game for free. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the same with the refs. If you talk to a ref and see how much they actually make and how many hours they spend going bouncing around the state and the amount of travel, it's nuts how little people are making.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Is there anything we can like? Is this sort of is this a fixable problem? Is there anything we can do? Is it just budgets are terrible and everything seems to be getting more expensive?
Yeah, I don't know what the solution is to that. I mean, try to have some empathy for these people
Hmm.
that are in the positions of power. I'm like, yeah, I think a lot of times though, I mean, it's not going to go away altogether, obviously, but I mean, man, some officials are going to make some bad calls. That's just part of the game, And some coaches are going to, I mean, well, all coaches are going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes, you know, um, just part of the game. But I don't know really what the solution is.
Because even if you guys, because you guys are raising money like everybody's raising money for whatever, but that all goes right back into the team.
Right back in the program.
You're buying cleats, you're buying shin guards, you're buying whatever is needed. That's not a thing where you're like, wow, you might take 20% off the top here.
Right, right. Um, equipment, some people don't think there's a lot of coaching equipment when it comes to soccer. Wrong. There's a lot of equipment that
What
comes with
equipment is there? Because that would
coaching.
be my first thought.
Okay.
I would be like, oh, you need a
Pit.
ball, you need a couple cleats,
uh,
you need
thank
a
goodness
net.
we don't have to wear mouth guards anymore. That's
Oh
been a
yeah.
pleasant surprise. Yeah, this is the first time I've coached, I think, in high school where besides New Jersey, where I coached before, we don't need mouth guards. I used to have my bucket used to be just full of mouth guards because kids would chew on them like puppies, and they would be nothing left like this, and they need a mouth
Ugh.
guard. So I just reach into my bucket and give them a mouth guard. So, but we don't
The
have to do that
bucket,
anymore.
the bucket is new mouth guards, right?
Yes, the bucket is new mouth guards. I used
Okay.
to joke because on the soccer field it was chewed up mouth guards. I say no, we have turf because we got the rubber pellets in the ground because from the mouth guards. So because the kids would chew them. So
Yeah.
that's gone. So that's good. No more mouth guards.
What
It's been a plus.
what was the controversy there? Because I sort of remember hearing about that in passing, and I was like, mouth guards? Don't they need mouth guards? And, I mean, you're getting hit in the face. You're hitting the ball on purpose with your head.
I believe that the state of Maine was the only state in the United States that required soccer to have mouth guards. I could be wrong on that, but I know a number of coaches went to the MPA and did a lot of research on, why we shouldn't wear mouth guards. It should be a choice, a parental decision, not mandatory. It was basically, we were told when it first came out, it was for reduced concussions.
It would reduce concussions.
Yes, wearing a
I
mouth
would
guard.
think the mouth guard would help with the concussions.
I don't know. I had kids get concussions and they were wearing the mouth guard. So,
Huh.
but I'm not a doctor, and
Okay.
I don't have any compiled any research whatsoever. I just
Okay.
my gut and what I've seen, mouth guards were not helping the game.
All right.
But
So now you're at Spruce.
yes,
Spruce was in 8-man, and it looks like, if I'm
yes,
reading the MPA's website correctly, which right now it's a mess, it looks like you guys successfully moved back up to 11-man. Is that correct?
yes, that
Okay.
is correct. Yeah,
Okay, good. So the upsite's been updated. Website's been updated. That at least is not all the schedules are in. Season starts tomorrow, but okay. You in a couple articles I read, you were a little worried about coaching 8-man. What's the big difference? Did you find? Because I'm sure you went down the road of trying to figure out, what's going to work in 8-man that doesn't work in 11-man, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah, and thankfully I don't have to coach 8 man. Eight aside, there's a ton of space because the field
Sure.
is the same size, and there was just a ton of space for these kids to uh, run. I never saw an eight-a-side game, a regular season eight-a-side game, um, per se. So I don't, in our tournament that I used to run with my wife, we shrunk the field and we had
Okay.
7 aside. Yeah, we shrunk the field so focuses more on touches. It just basically modeled the U.S. Soccer Federation guidelines because when you play like U under 10 or U12, the field is much smaller, the goals are smaller, and the
Hmm.
kids are smaller. So it focuses on touches and not so much on athleticism. So like I'm extremely happy we're not playing eight aside because I'm not sure how I would have tackled that. Uh, I did a little research, and then my AD said, "Well, don't worry, you're not going A-to-side." And when I had 30 kids show up on my room in the spring wanted to play soccer, because they only had like 16 before the year before, I was like, "Wow, I guess we're not going A-to-side. We're going 11-side," which I'm way more comfortable with.
And one reason they're like in the under 10 or whatever, they're shrinking the field is because the little kids would get exhausted, right? Just going up and
Oh,
down.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, it's trying to simulate the size and just trying to like shrink the field to have size appropriate. I mean, U.S. Soccer Federation has it all figured out. So
So that's kind of the equivalent of playing on the 8-foot hoops when you're a little kid.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Smaller ball. I don't know if they use a
Yep.
smaller ball in
I
basketball.
think they
Sorry, I
use
don't
a
know much about
they
youth
use a youth
basketball.
ball. Yeah, they use a youth ball that's I think it's a little smaller than a girl's ball. I
Hmm.
think I'm pretty sure. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they do. Okay, so you're an 11 man. It's a new program. How not to get you put on a bulletin board anywhere, but how what's the outlook for this season?
We're looking to be competitive.
Okay.
We just finished our preseason last night. Went to Lake Region. Didn't have a particularly great first half. Second half was better. Just trying to teach the kids because a lot of the kids have never played 11-a-side in high school.
Right. So
I
that
think
they were an 8 man for a couple years, right?
8-man for like 3 years, I believe. I think the last
Okay.
time they were 11-a-side was like 2021. So a lot of these kids, yeah, have not played 11-a-side. So I'm trying to teach positions, trying to teach tactics, trying to teach the shape of our team, defensive alignment. It's been really like going back to basics with this group, but they work hard, they listen, the good listeners, and they go out and they try to execute. And and it's just trying to. In the past, this program's only been around. Spruce Mountain's only been around since 2013, I believe. This
Okay.
program hasn't had a tremendous amount of success over the years, according to my athletic director. So we're just trying to be competitive and trying to grow the program and create a soccer culture at Spruce, um, where there really hasn't been one. Try and teach the kids. Like right now, one of the things that we're doing, we're playing English Premier League Fantasy League,
Oh,
which
that's cool.
yeah. So a lot of the kids don't even watch soccer on TV.
Yeah, sure.
So we're trying to have them, choose a favorite team in the Premier League. Some of them don't want to do the Premier League. They want to do La Liga because they're Barcelona fans. La Liga to me is I'm not a big fan of La Liga,
Okay.
but I like the Premier League. So we're trying to get them to choose teams and have a little banter going on and watch some games. So just trying to create that soccer culture. And then on Fridays, tell the kids to wear their favorite soccer team jersey, professional Jersey Friday. So we do that too, just trying to get the interest in other kids in school. Like, well, what's that shirt? Well, this
Yeah.
is Everton. This is my team. Or this is Liverpool, but we don't talk about Liverpool because
Oh.
Everton and Liverpool are big. No, we don't talk about Liverpool.
What's wrong with La Liga? Because I don't know enough about soccer to know what that is.
La Liga is Spain, and it's
Okay.
basically Real Madrid and Barcelona are always the two teams. Sometimes I forget the third team. Put me on the spot, but it's usually those two teams. And there's not really much else changing. Everybody else is always like third, fourth, or fifth, but it's always Real
Okay.
Madrid, Barcelona. Sometimes, excuse me, Atletico is up there. Sometimes Atletico Madrid, but
And
not
Real
a huge
Madrid
fan.
just
That's what.
outspends everybody,
Oh yeah,
right?
it's
Okay.
crazy money. But Messi hails from Barcelona. That's why a lot of people like Barcelona. But
Sure.
he hasn't been there in quite some time. So
I know who that is. So it's a little bit like I could imagine if you were trying to coach basketball and you had a bunch of kids who never watched the NBA and
yes,
like didn't know who Steph Curry was. Like the learning curve has got to be so much higher because like so when my kid's 8 and we tried to get him to play little league and youth baseball and he I don't think he'd ever watched a baseball game, had no interest in watching a Red Sox game or anything, and so you just try to explain to him like no, you have to run to first base now, and he sort of looks at you like you're crazy, like why am I running to first base, what is all this nonsense, what, like he doesn't even know what a swing looks like, and as many times as you try to get him to do it he's just like what, why am I doing this, what's happening, this isn't Minecraft. What are we doing here?
Oh, as I like to call it, mind crap. Yeah.
Yeah, I co-sign on that. So is that part of the challenge? Is you just sort of they just don't know what soccer is supposed to look like?
They have more knowledge than like not knowing anything. They know the basics. They've been played it. The way tried to like put them the next level up is what I'm trying to do. Teach them
Mhm.
overlapping runs, formations, what each position's supposed to do, where you're supposed to go if the ball goes here. The defense is supposed to drop if the other team's midfielder gets the ball because you don't want to be susceptible to the crossing ball in the back, which we got burned on a few times last night. But that sort of thing. And I use film a lot too. So we have huddle and we use film to teach. So we have film sessions during the week. I pick a game and I spend about my assistant and I, Coach Ken Boris, who's a godsend by the way, because he's a tech wizard, and I'm like grandpa trying to figure out my smartphone. Oh gosh, yeah. So he helps out and do stuff like that and try to teach him. I mean, it's going to take some time,
Mhm.
obviously, but I'm very enthusiastic. Kids are like, "Wow, you really get into this," and I'm like, "Yeah." It's kind of in our. I was just talking to did a friend check in this morning with Coach Higgins from Yarmouth, the Yarmouth girls coach, and we talk once in a while, and we're just checking in with each other. And he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy, and I'm like, yeah, it's just this is what I'm doing. I'm going from coaching a team who were state champions and were ranked like fifth in the state and in the varsity rankings, going to a team that doesn't understand a lot of higher concepts with soccer. But it's a challenge, and I'm up for the challenge. And the juices are flowing. We open next Tuesday. And I'm enthusiastic, and I hope we can. I think we can win some games. I think we can, surprise some people with our pace and athleticism. And it's just about growing the program and trying to get the community out there to see us, because soccer is not huge, not as huge as where I'm coming from. And so we'd like to get the community out there and see what we can do. It's going to take some time. I understand that, but we have some decent players. We have some kids who want to learn, they want to get better, and it's a challenge. So
Going forward, as you build the program, how huge will the World Cup being in the United States be for that sort of immersion and education? And I say this as someone who sort of pays attention to soccer generally every 4 years for the World Cup and goes, "Oh, what is that guy doing? How does he not know what he's doing?" And then I don't pay attention for another 4 years. Like, imagine a World Cup in the United States is going to have to be huge for the growth of a program like that.
it is, but I must add that that's something even bigger that's in Maine is Hearts of Pine. A
Okay,
lot of my kids
that's
have
on my
gone
list.
down. Yeah, it's you should go because the atmosphere is tremendous. You can't get tickets. You can't get single game tickets. The
That's why I haven't
atmosphere is
gone.
like it's an incredible atmosphere. A lot of the boys went down in May and watched the game, and it's good soccer, and the atmosphere is good, and the excitement is excellent. I've gone to like three games. I went down with a close friend of mine, Dan Gish of Lewiston. We went to a game, and my sons actually got us that for a Christmas present. We got a 5 game pack to
Cool.
go down and watch. We watched the season opener, and it was something cool because when I was a kid, I went to a couple games of the '96 World Cup that was hosted in the United States. I know I'm dating myself
I
and
remember the
stuff, and we
'96
saw,
World Cup. Yeah.
and we actually went to. My AD and I, as because we were college teammates, we actually went to the first New England Revolution game together in '96 at it was Foxborough Stadium then. Since been torn down. It wasn't a nice Gillette Stadium back then. It was
Was
the old
Alexi
Foxborough.
Lawless on that team?
He was. Yep,
Oh, I remembered something. Okay, look at
he
that.
was. Yep.
I
Yeah,
remember the soccer thing.
I read his ex posts all the time. So Alexi Lawless.
Why? So this is one of my questions. It's on my list here. Hearts of Pine. Why has that been so successful in Maine? Like, because when the Red Claws came to Maine, it was
Hmm.
successful, but it wasn't huge. I mean, I'm wondering if this has been more successful as a rollout than even the Sea Dogs were.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with their marketing. Like
Their
they
marketing's
have
amazing.
all it's like, oh my goodness gracious. So you go to a game and the swag line is like a mile. You'll be there all game in the line just to get like a scarf or and they got so many jerseys for sale. My wife complains because I got like three of them. She's like, you spend more money on jerseys than I do on shoes. And I'm like, sorry, but they're cool.
I
But
want that blue one that's like looks like the sign, the state of Maine sign.
yes, I haven't got that. That's the one I don't have.
That one looks very cool to me.
It's cool. I
And
have
I
the
think
orange one.
I could wear it here and it wouldn't like bleed into the green screen behind me. So that's one of my main
True.
motivations.
True. I just think their marketing has been absolutely tremendous. The videos, the marketing, and such, and ticket sales are crazy. You can't find any.
But
So
I mean, you
that's
could
a
market
local
the
thing,
hell out of it and it still wouldn't click. Like there's,
right?
what about, I guess mostly Southern Maine. But what about Southern Maine has like allowed that marketing to latch on? Because it feels like it did almost immediately.
It did, didn't it? It's just
Yeah,
I
I
can't
was like the
explain it.
first
I
announcement,
just
everyone's like, hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Cairns one of the owners, so I mean he's there. The governor was there first game, and you got the movie actor. Was the
Dempsey,
movie actor? Yeah, Patrick Dempsey was there for a game. I keep telling kids I'm a better actor than he is because my sons used to watch his what's the hospital show he had, and I
Grey's
was like, oh
Anatomy.
my goodness, yeah, I was like, oh my god, this is awful. It's like, how do you guys watch this? But
I
he
think
was
it's still
there, so
on.
somewhere, I'm sure it's somewhere, but all these people come in and they advocate, and they've done a tremendous job just like getting the word out, and the videos are tremendous, and the product on the field is good. It's exciting. They got some really exciting players. So I think that adds in to the state and such. We actually had some representatives come when we used to run the 77 tournament at Mount Abram. We had a tent there with Hearts of Pine came that last year. I ran it, I believe, and did some promo stuff. Had a giant like soccer ball that you shot the ball and it stuck like a Velcro. It's like a
Okay.
target. Yeah. So they did a lot of promo stuff and outreach and grassroots and stuff.
Has that been is that a thing that was sort of building for a couple years before any of us really like the
Yeah.
casuals like myself even knew about it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when they were looking to try to build their own soccer specific stadium in Portland because I got really excited for that. And then I guess like I don't know, the permitting is crazy probably. So they
Where
just
would they have
went to
put that?
renovate Back Bay, maybe? I can't remember. I
That's
just
the only
remember
thing that
reading a
makes
couple
sense. Yeah.
articles. Back Bay was,
Hmm.
but I mean, there's at Fitzy now, and it's kind of cool. It's really cool. I mean, the atmosphere is tremendous.
I'll probably be at Fitzy for the football states, so I'm be interested to see how much different it is, and more importantly, how much different the press box is.
Yeah,
That'll be the big
yeah.
thing. Is what does the press
I
box
don't.
look like? Is it heated?
Yeah, I'm not allowed in there.
Yeah.
So
All right. So now you're in C. Who are the teams to beat this year in C, and is one of them Mount Abram?
absolutely, one of them, Mount Abram. I mean, Mount Abram to me is a state title contender again this year. They've got the players. I mean, Halldale's defending state champ. And you always have Waynfleet and North
Mm-hmm.
Yarmouth Academy. I mean, those are the big four. And we got two of them on the schedule. I told my kids, I'm like, we're playing three state championship caliber teams on the schedule, and actually they've won the hardware. You got Monmouth and D, who won it 2 years ago. You got Mount
Mm-hmm.
Abram, who won it 2 years ago. You've got Halldale, who won it last year. So we've got a tall task. So my preseason games have been pretty tough. So we've played some juggernauts, and just to get used to that type of style of play. And Lake Region we played last night, who's really quality. Mount Blue's a sleeper. Mount Blue's boys soccer. They are tremendous. Zach Conalog has done an absolute fantastic job with them. They've got some players. I think it'll surprise a lot of teams in the North in the A.
Mm-hmm.
And they're big. And one of those funny because one of the kids we played Mount Blue, it's like, Coach, how do we win head balls against the guys that are a foot taller? I'm like, you're not going to? The second ball you can win. So, because
Yeah.
they're just so
Okay.
big, so tall.
You
So
got to box them out. Sort of use some basketball
y-
skills there.
we tried. They tried. It's a tough. We had them almost 0-0 at half. We let go
Oh.
10 seconds left in the first half. So we played tough.
Oh.
That was a positive. We played tough. So
How much in soccer, how devastating is that goal with 10 seconds left in the half? Because I mean,
yeah,
that might be the only goal in the game. And you're so
right. It's
close to just getting out of the half.
Yes, it's devastating. I think I just put my head in my hands and said, "Sugar." Well, almost had them 0-0. Yep.
Yeah, that's just the thing about soccer is like you said before, you can dominate the game and lose it 1-0. And, football, you've got multiple chances where you're going to be able to score, hopefully. And in basketball, the, worst case scenario, you're going to be in the
Right.
40s or the 50s. And so there's so many more opportunities where if you're dominating, it's going to show up on the scoreboard. And it
Yeah.
just must be like so frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Mount Blue had saw all the ball mostly, and I knew that was going to happen. We just tried to keep our shape, and we made a little mistake right before half. We gave up a free kick on a foul that we shouldn't have done. But that's the learning process that I have to do with these guys, Game management. You got 15 seconds left. There's no reason to foul. None.
Mm-hmm.
Just contain that offense. Just contain them. Just don't let them in behind you. And unfortunately, we committed a foul. They had a free kick. They scored off the free kick. We're down 1-0, and that's just it's a learning moment for these guys because they haven't played Mount Blue in a while, Mount Blue varsity in quite some time.
All right, so September 24th is the Mount Abram game. They're coming to you.
Yes.
How weird do you anticipate that being for you, being on the other sideline?
Considering like two of the kids work for me this summer at my place, yeah. One did my
Yeah.
firewood and the one did my lawn mowing. Yeah. It's gonna be weird. Yeah. It's gonna be strange. I just gotta have my kids pumped up and, play within themselves and not get down if things don't go right. But it's also fair night in Farmington, so that's also adding to the because Farmington Fair is big in Farmington. So because the kids get a half day off of school, they get to go to the
Ooh,
fair. Yeah.
gotta love a half day
So
off school.
yeah, I don't get the half day off, just the kids. So, and I don't want to go to the fair. So the only thing good at the fair is like the hot roasted peanuts and the doughboys. So I
Ooh.
could do without those. Yeah, but that's a big game. That's on the calendar. I requested it be at night so we can have a big crowd. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a big crowd. It's not that far from Mount Abram to Spruce. It's about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So it's gonna be it'll be good because Coach Wing's on the other side. He's one of my former assistants. He's an awesome guy. He's a great coach, and he's going to give it his all. I'm going to try to give it our all. Just have the kids prepared, so it'll be a good atmosphere.
Have you already? I'm assuming you have already made a sort of list of like, here are things that I think would work against my former players because I know them pretty well. And, it's almost like the self scout that you would do of your own team going into the playoffs or something to be like, here are our weaknesses, and here's how we would attack ourselves. You know, how long is that list?
I haven't made that list yet because we have a game on Tuesday against a team. I've been a year out, so I haven't seen these guys play too
Hmm.
much. So I usually take it one game at a time, and then after as soon as the game before Mount Abram is done, then I'll start to make my list and stuff and implement it in training sessions. So I'm one of those coaches. Take it one game at a time.
One at a time. Try not to get too far ahead of it.
Yeah, because then you get confused, and no, you just got to take it one game at a time. Focus.
All right, fair enough. Who are the teams to beat? I know you're not in 8-man anymore, but who are the teams to beat an 8-man that you've just hearing around the grapevine?
Carabec is always good. Yeah.
They're near
I
you.
don't know a lot of Carabec's very near us. I don't know a lot of the Northern Maine ones, but I think Northern Maine team won it last year. Or was it Richmond is not a so I'm not familiar a
I don't
lot with the
remember.
Ada side. No, I know Carabec lost in the regionals last year, I do believe, to. I think Greenville's in it too, 8-a-side. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the MPA, like who's an 8-man, who's not an 8-man anymore. So I haven't. Is the MPA website is new this year? Is that
It's
correct, or is
very
it the
new.
same?
Oh, it's
Okay.
very
See,
new. It's
the other
very
day
much a
I
work in
went to
progress.
I went to the old one the other day, and I'm like, what? It doesn't have our schedule. I'm like, oh, it doesn't have anybody's schedule. Oh, I don't think it's operational. I don't have the right link. Oh,
Yeah.
so that's the other thing is that a lot of these kids that I coach don't even know what the heel points are.
Wow.
So yeah, so we're gonna go over that too.
That'll be a learning curve.
I'm not gonna do the math for them.
I'll do the math for you. I'll have the math.
You do have, yes, you do the math. I don't teach math. There's a reason why I don't teach math, especially that kind of math.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this. Someone asked me this question the other day, and I didn't have an answer for it. So, in the county, they've already started, like 2
Yes.
weeks ago, for the harvest teams. And then the question I got asked, and you might not know the answer to this, but we can speculate wildly on a podcast. That's what podcasts are for. Do they still need the kids for the harvest? Isn't it mostly mechanical now?
It's a great question. I did go to school up there, but it was many moons ago. I think some
And
of the
you
kids
do have a
work.
potato expertise, so we've established.
I have friends that still live in the county, but I don't really know the answer. I'm sure some of them do work.
I'm
up
sure,
there.
but it's like,
I'm
is it so much that we need to start this season early, like still, or is it just sort of a thing we just do because it's a thing we do?
I don't believe all the schools do that. I don't know. That's a great question, Lucas. I don't know the answer. I would have to ask some of my college friends, college teammates that still live in the county.
Okay. We'll investigate this because someone asked me at work and I was like, yeah, why do they still need the kids? They've got like these harvester machines and like
I still
conveyor
think they have to
belts.
pick out on the conveyor belts. They still have to pick out the bad potatoes, I guess, like
Okay.
the Laverne and Shirley commercial show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I
Yeah,
dating myself again? I do this
you
all the
are.
time at work.
You are.
The other day was the Love Boat. Yeah, the other day was the Love Boat. The kids didn't know what the Love Boat. My assistant didn't even know what the Love Boat show was. I was like, oh my
Wow.
gosh, you don't know the Love Boat? Okay.
I was at work the other day and I had to send an email and I was like, I had to mention the band Wilco. And I was like, one of my bosses was like, you cannot yell at people if they don't know who Wilco is because they're too young. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can. Because that's not that old of a band. They're still very active. And 2 of the 3 people didn't know who Wilco was. And I was not allowed to yell at them.
Okay.
But I'm venting here a little bit on the podcast because it was very annoying to me.
Okay.
It's the whole thing of getting old, and
it's just a number. It's just a number.
It is just a number. All right, so I'm gonna hit you with so you're in C. How about Class B? Who are the teams to beat you think in B?
There's a whole list of teams. Anybody like 1 through 8 could win B.
Really?
John Babs from the north could win B. My good friend and former goalkeeper buddy Jason Pangburn is the coach there. Yeah, and then you have
they were very good last year.
Yeah, Pangburn has done a great job up there. And then of course C South, you've got Grain Gloss is improved. You got Lake Region, you got Yarmouth, you got Freeport, you've got York, you've got Cape, you've got Yarmouth. Did I say Yarmouth?
You did say Yarmouth, I think.
I did, yeah. And then I'm trying to think of the schools down there. But you got all these teams. It's a soccer hotbed,
Yeah.
D South. And it's just crazy. So, and you got Greeley. I say Greeley, defending state champs. Mike Andreessen. Mike Andreessen also won National Coach of the Year last year for a large school. Yeah, he won large school.
And I think Halligan won it once, right?
Yes. And then another gentleman from Bangor Christian won it.
Okay.
As well. Yeah. I do
and
believe
I think
so.
The Camden girls coach won it once.
Yes. I think so.
Because they had that run. Camden had that run where they were ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they had Christina Kelly.
Yeah.
Who was a great basketball player.
Yeah. There's 5 of us from Maine that have won it before, I do believe. I have to ask Mike Jeffries, the president of the Maine soccer coaches. He has those stats on his website.
I mean, that seems like a lot.
Yeah.
per
Yeah.
capita sort of situation.
Yeah. Maine produces a lot of high quality soccer players.
And then why is that, do you think, that we produce so many high quality soccer players? What about
Coaching.
is it coaching? That's a great answer.
I mean, the accessibility to soccer all year round, you know.
Okay.
Now it used to be only in Southern Maine you could get soccer all year round, but now it's spread. I mean, you can play. I wish the MPA would, and they probably don't know about it if Mike Bisson is listening. But
He's probably
futsal,
not.
they do it in Brazil. Well, I'll send it to him. Uh,
Okay.
so futsal in Brazil. So you just play on a basic gym floor, and you get two metal
What's
goals with a
futsal?
goalkeeper. Futsal, you play. It's a size 4 ball, and the ball's a little heavier.
Okay.
And they play. Brazil plays it, and it's just played on the gym floor like you play in soccer. And the gym floor out of bounds is the basketball court, and
Okay.
so it produces a lot of foot skills. That's what we do with our indoor youth program. We
I think
haven't
I played
run
that
it
in
since.
intramurals in college, actually.
Yeah,
Okay. I think like
yeah,
a couple
develops a lot of foot
games.
skills, and yeah, it's good. It's something to do in the wintertime if
Yeah.
you're not a basketball player. Yeah,
Yeah.
or even if you are.
I had no idea what I was doing, and I got like recruited onto this intramural team as one does in college. And I was completely lost on all of it. And then at one point someone goes, "Dude, it's like playing defense in basketball. Use the ball, the line down the middle of the court. Use your position your feet based on that and just try to stay in front of people." And I was like, "Oh, I can do
Yeah,
that. That's not hard." And
yeah,
I instantly got like 5 times better.
yeah. There's a lot of similar concepts between the sports. Yeah.
Okay. And then in A, is it Lewiston? Are they still the team to beat?
Oh yeah, I would say
Okay.
yes. I mean, Camden Boys won it last year, I do believe. So
Yep.
I'm not
I was
sure
there for that.
what they lost. Wyndham too, in the south. I have a hard time with A, which is north and which is south, because Mount Ararat's in the north, I think,
Sure.
and they're really south because they're like 2 hours south of us. But how are they in the north? So I understand there has to be a balance between the regions. I get that. Mount Ararat. I mean, again, all these teams: Lewiston, Mount Ararat, Edward Little.
Okay.
Uh, another. Oh man, that stadium's fantastic. Oh, remember playing there. It was a fantastic stadium. Portland, Scarborough, Gorham, all these, Deering,
Hmm.
all these, great schools that produce all these great soccer players. And it's just really close to call who the team to beat is really. But I mean, Lewiston produces quality programs all the time.
The
So
most fun north-south thing I saw, and I think I have this right, is that Machias is in the south.
yeah, and
In
I
D.
think they wanted to be. I think they wanted to be because
Well,
it's
it's all the Aroostook County in the north, and then everybody's not in the
right,
Aroostook County is in the south.
right. So they probably the transportation is shorter. I'm
Maybe,
thinking.
maybe.
I don't remember the last time I went to Machias.
I mean, if you're in
A few years
Machias,
ago.
it's just a long way to get to anything. So
Yeah.
there's that. All right, so I'm gonna ask you a question I ask everybody. So a scenario arises where the MPA comes to you and they say, "You have complete control, absolute power for one day. You can implement whatever rule you want, and we have to do it, and the teams have to do it, and whatever you think is the easy fix by executive order, whatever, what do you do?"
Huh. Great
It's tricky
question.
because there's so many options.
Hmm. Yeah, it is. Wow. I don't know. I would take the
You
regional finals. I would say the regional finals are at the higher seed and not neutral site.
really
Yeah,
a regional
because we
final at
had
a huh?
yeah we used to so like in 2004 and 2008 when I was coaching, we played in the regional final. We hosted, and the atmosphere. The visiting teams are from the south, so when you drive up to Mount Abram, you see this like this 4,000-foot mountain in the background. Everybody's like, ooh,
Mhm.
it's snowing, it's cold. Such a home field advantage. I understand why they play the regional finals at neutral sites, because usually that time of year, the grass pitches are junk.
Trash. Yeah.
It just the rain, and I understand all of that. But if I had to do an executive order, I would put the regional finals back at the higher seed.
Is that too much of a home field advantage for a regional final? That would be my
No, because
question.
we lost those games in 2004, 2008, so it wasn't that much of a
That didn't help you.
wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. Because you want to make those. I mean, you work all year for that home field advantage. You want it,
Hmm.
but I completely understand why the MPA moved it to a neutral site because of this. It's on artificial turf surface, so I get it.
Yeah, you almost have
Uh,
to have it on an artificial surface that time of year, right?
yeah, I mean, some fields are still okay, but I remember the last year we actually snowed before our game with Wainfleet, and they actually went out and tried to plow the field, and may or may not have left ruts in the field. And I remember the
Ooh,
Wainfleet coach checking the field out before the game, and I saw him shaking his head because he probably saw the ruts. And I'm like, "It is what it is. We don't have turf."
yeah.
So yeah, so I think
I
it's a huge
mean,
advantage for grass teams when turf teams come to grass. It's a big
because
difference.
because it's so much slower.
It's so much slower, and you don't get true bounces. You might hit like a
Mm.
little bump, the ball will go somewhere else, and I mean, turf fields are good. Don't get me wrong, but there's something about a grass pitch that it plays differently, and you got to get used to it. You really have to hit the ball harder to have a weighted pass and such on grass. So, and you
And the
cannot
ball
mow it
will,
too, and it
right?
won't go anywhere.
And the pitch it's going to skip more, right? Like the ball's going to almost like
Oh
in
yeah,
baseball on turf when they're throwing
yeah,
throwing from third base and they sort of skip it in and that speeds it up somehow.
yeah. It's going to speed up. It's going to be, especially if it's wet. We usually in October, late October, November, the field is wet, so the ball's just going to fly. Yeah.
Okay. All
If
right.
I had my choice, I would love to have turf, but a lot of schools don't have that choice.
Right, because that's pretty expensive, I would
That
imagine.
is expensive. Yes.
And if you can't pay the coaches, then you probably don't have money for a turf.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to make a prediction for your record this year?
I do not. I don't do
You do not.
predictions.
You
I
don't
do
do
not
predictions.
because I made a prediction once and I'll never forget it, and no one will ever let me
Oh,
live
I got
it
to hear
down.
this
So I
story
was in
then.
all right. So I was in college, and
Okay.
we went out to breakfast as a team. And actually, my AD was on my team. And someone goes, "Da, what's your prediction for today's game?" I'm like 5-0. Oh, I was absolutely right, but it was the wrong team with 5 and the
Ooh,
right team with 0. So after that day, I will never make a prediction again.
fair enough. All right. Thank you so much for doing this. Is there anything you want to add? Anything you want to promote while
No,
you're here?
I just want to thank you, Lucas, for having me on. And high school soccer is thank you. Well, letting the light in on high school soccer. It's extremely popular, and it's good to be back on the sidelines and coaching again. It really is.
I went to the state games last year, and I hadn't been to a soccer state game before. Actually, went to the regional final too, because Madomic was in the regional final, and I was like, if Madomic's in a regional final, I got a press pass, I can go to that. But I went to the Camden, and now I forget who they beat, and it was a lot of fun.
Lewiston. They
Lewiston,
beat
okay,
Lewiston.
yeah, Camden,
Yeah.
Lewiston, okay. It was a lot of fun. It was really windy at Morse,
Yep.
and the ball would go up like this, and then it would just sort of hang up in the air and we come back down, and you're just sitting there going, we're all on the sidelines, all the media people going, this is going to be rough sledding going against this wind, whoever's got to go against the
Yeah.
wind. And it was,
That time of
but
year, you got to play against the elements too. Yeah. It's not November's. Can I have my question back on what I could do? Extend the soccer season until Thanksgiving. That's what I want to do. Make it
oh
make it
jeez.
longer. Yeah.
All
That's
right,
what I would
well,
do.
extend it. See, I'm trying to get the basketball season extended because I'm not exhausted enough come tourney time. But yeah, let's do it. Let's extend them all. All right. Thank you so much for doing this, and good luck this
Thank
year.
you, Lucas. Thanks so much.
Okay, that's the show. Thanks to Darren for joining me. That was a lot of fun. I'm probably gonna be on Thursday. I might be at a volleyball game because my brother is the new volleyball coach at Madomic Valley, and it's his first game. So I figure I'll go to a volleyball game. I haven't been to a volleyball game in a long time, very long time. Yeah, so this has been a production of MaineBasketballRankings.com, your source for the most comprehensive coverage of Maine high school basketball from Ashland to York and everywhere in between. This podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts and a bunch of places you don't. If you enjoy this, please leave a nice review because it really does help out with algorithms. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Thanks for listening.